So good morning, Janet. How are you today?
I'm very well, Clarissa. How are you?
Great, great. So Janet, you and I have known each other for quite a few years now. We sat on a few boards together, and you've been involved in the Oasis program for almost 5 years now.
Has it been
Um,
that long already?
yes, that long, absolutely. So tell us a little bit about where your business is and kind of how you support other small businesses.
Oh well, my company is Lynch's Accounting Solutions. I'm here in Miramichi, New Brunswick, and I've been in business for over 20 years. And I started out at my own home, looking after my kids and just trying to stay in the loop so that when the kids were in school that I could jump back into a job. And it just turned out that I just continued with my own business, and I now have a storefront with 3 employees. So it's been good. We obviously, with accounting, we support small businesses. We do a lot of small businesses, and when people ask me, oh, you do books. Well, yes, we do support businesses by doing their books, but we do a lot more than that. And these days, it's been more on an advisory level that people, we're trying to help small businesses, whether it's a startup or whether it's trying to grow or, in COVID-19, just, some of the things that they need to know or want to know, or do they apply, do they qualify for different programs?
Yeah. So you've kind of seen it from both sides. We're hearing from a lot of small business owners that have had to move their businesses back into their home. That now they're trying to homeschool and deal with children. And so you've been there, and then you've moved back out. So in the time when it kind of COVID-19, as I call it, hit right back, if we can go back to that March 17th, what were, as a small business owner, what were some things that were going through your mind in relation to your business and how it was going to impact your business?
Well, I remember one of my employees, I was away at the time when all this was sort of taking place, and one of my employees just emailed me saying, you know what, I'm going to start working from home if you don't mind. And I'm kind of like, well, okay. Like, I haven't even thought of anything, and it was just so fast that everything started to move, and we had to change, from bookkeeping to payroll and record of employments and all that. Who needs record of employments, because all these people were being laid off, and trying to deal with employees going home, and then who's left here, the process of what we're doing, and our jobs changed as anyways. It was a busy few weeks, and everybody had questions, and everybody, were trying to understand what the government was saying and what they're telling us, and trying to relate that to 60, 70, 80 clients, and everybody with different questions. So it was busy.
And that's interesting. So I just want to, there's so much that we can talk about, but that impact of having people, because I myself had to come home to set up a home office, and so many small business owners who have probably never thought of having employees work from home, and how can this happen? How did that happen for you? Because in accounting, I know you're dealing with a lot of things in the cloud, but you're also dealing with a lot of confidential information. So, go there for a minute and say, how did you have to kind of align your employees to allow them to work from home?
Well, one of our employees, we've been lining her up anyways with online cloud accounting. So, we scan stuff into the cloud, and that's how she processed the information there. So for her, it was an easy step to move, because we kind of geared her that way, because she lives far away. So when there's snowstorms and stuff like that, she was ready for that.
Mm-hmm.
So, we have that. There's, we look at tax returns and that, which don't leave the office. So that's something that they can't do, and we're not willing to let it go out of the office. But,
right. So you kind of had to choose your buckets, and in this new normal, do you see that, there's the benefit of having, work that you can send home, or that you have an employee that's able to work from home, so that in circumstances like this or snowstorms that they're at the ready?
Yeah, absolutely. Anything that you can do, if you can pick it up and take it home, or you can work from home, I'm seeing the benefits. At least I know that I can still get some work out of my employees and
Mhm.
still keep them employed. And, there's
Yeah.
4 of us here and they're all still working pretty well full days. So,
Yeah.
so it's
And
been,
you,
it's been good.
yeah, and you mentioned there before we, in our first little bit of our chat, you mentioned about productivity and how, you found that productivity kind of has increased
Hmm.
with you yourself as the owner, but also in your office,
Hmm.
because there's not that many interruptions, right?
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not going out as much for myself, so I get to spend good chunks of my day back at the office and actually working on things and getting things tidied up. But
Yeah.
yeah, I've enjoyed that part of
Yeah.
it. And I
Uh,
think some people who are working from home, like you said, they probably don't have the phones that are ringing off the hook
mhm.
when they're here, so they probably are more productive as well.
Yeah. And you can almost, I sat through a webinar and there's this time chunking, right? Is kind of the future of, they're saying that between 2 and 4 are the most unproductive time of the day. But, some people, if they get up early in the morning and they're early risers, they may start their day at 7,
Hmm.
because they don't have that commute. So they're getting like these time chunks in.
Yeah.
So pivoting now to, you just not only had to all of us, you were kind of thrown into the world of all this government programming
Hmm.
and because I know I've picked your brain about that too, but you've kind of had to know what's out there and kind of what some of the businesses that you serve, what's out there for them in regards to this
That's
government
right. Yeah.
programming.
Yeah, we did a lot, there's a lot of reading, there's still a lot of reading and updating, and you apply what you're reading to one of your clients, how's that going to affect them, because it might be different than this other client, right?
Mhm.
And
Yeah,
so there's just a lot of reading, updating, and
yeah,
talking with the clients, and yeah.
yeah. So take us to, anybody that's out there listening and we're I mean, you and I work closely together, with a nonprofit but other businesses out there, and we're kind of all in the same boat.
Hmm.
Take us through, some of your top tips or resources that we can do today, to kind of get us over that hill of this new normal, till we reach the end.
Well, uh, our top tips. Well, if you're a business owner and you're sitting at home, from my accounting background, get yourself up to date
Mhm.
and keep your books up to date so that you can kind of prepare a little bit more. You can kind of look in the future. You can plan more. Take some time to understand what those financial statements mean to you. Because what we're seeing is that, the cash flow has been the biggest issue with most business owners, whether they went home or they're still open. It's still been a problem for everybody.
Mhm.
So, but you can't do anything with that unless you understand what's happening with your business, what expenses you're incurring, how you can project what your cash flows are going to be, and be prepared for something that might happen, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
Whether it's even a pandemic or a major expense, you need to be prepared for that.
Right.
So I think that's one thing, is just make sure, take some time right now, get yourself up to date, and talk to your accountant or bookkeeper or whoever you're doing it, and just try and understand your business a little bit more
Yeah.
on the
And
financial
that
side.
and that seems to be a theme with a lot of our mentors. They're saying, this is the perfect time to refocus, go
Hmm.
back to that why, and not just don't start from scratch, but find ways to pivot
Yeah.
and kind of refocus your business, but actually go take the time now to work on it and know more about it.
Exactly. Work on your business, and maybe it's looking at the services that you're offering or the products that you're selling, and reevaluating and trying to make decisions as to whether this is really making money for me or not. Those could be some of the things that they could be doing now.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
And getting, we talked to some other ones about how, like, pivoting and saying, well, this line isn't really working, so maybe I'll get rid of that service and I'll add
that's
this
right.
new service. And yeah.
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 Yeah. Exactly.
Now, what about some of your, and maybe, maybe you don't want to go there, but what about some of the benefits that we have coming out, for example, where you don't have to pay your taxes, your deadline's extended, and your GST might be extended. What are your thoughts on that in regards to, I know what they want. They want you to be able to keep your cash close to you. What about those businesses who can pay it? Is that a good thing to go ahead and pay it?
If they can pay it, I'd like to see that they do, or at least they adhere to the deadlines that they've given. So it does keep the money close. There's a big loan out there that you can get, and if you pay it off before the end of December 2021, you get to keep 25% of it. So, I mean, that's a great thing, but you have to really know your business to see whether you can handle another payment come January 1st, or I think there's some good things. I think you're just going to have to monitor it and see what's going to work best for you. If your cash flow is there and you can afford to wait and you want to keep the money close, just pay it on time. Make sure it's paid on time.
Yeah.
And really that goes a lot for any time of the year, right?
That's
payroll
right.
taxes, HST, is just pay it on time and then avoid interest and penalties.
And would you think that's the same for just individuals? Because, this, hopefully these OASIS shows benefit, businesses, but also individuals. What about individuals that are now receiving, they've been laid off and they're receiving EI or the CERB, or for students who are now going to be getting the new student benefit? Is that the same for them if to watch deadlines, or to kind of keep a little bit back so that they're not caught next year?
Yeah, the biggest thing they need to know is that money is taxable and there is no tax being taken off. So come next April, when they go to do their tax return, they're going to have to pay tax on that. So they should know that now, and yes, tuck a little bit away for next year and be prepared to pay some of that back in taxes.
It's kind of like that save for a rainy day, and now we're in a rainy day, but we're going to have more rainy days next year when it comes tax time.
Exactly.
Yeah. So is there any other, tips or resources, or, just kind of good information that you can wrap us up with, or is there anything that we should be watching or we should be doing?
Well, I think still continue to pay attention to what's going on with the programs that the government are putting out. One thing that I did see a little bit this year, so you may want to talk with your accountant or bookkeeper or whatever, is, if you are a business owner, how do you pay yourself so that if something like this happens, that you do qualify? Because we did see quite a few people not qualify because they didn't have a paycheck, right? Because they are a business owner, they're keeping the money in the business. So, keep that in the back of your mind when you're getting back to work, and how you can set yourself up for a better, if something else like this happens or continues to happen. But
that's a good piece of advice.
Yeah.
Well, this has been awesome. I certainly appreciate you taking the time. I know it's busy season for you, and it's busy with everybody, calling and asking you to, to kind of help them decipher the information. But I really appreciate your time, and we'll talk to you soon.
Yeah, well, thanks for having me, and we'll talk to you soon. Thank you.